typically when people lay out what would be referred to as a conspiracy theory, what we typically do is we lay out like a collection of vague or imprecise statements or a collection of facts that are indeed true. But then what we do is we do a lot of work behind the scenes to kind of weave this web that brings it all together into some sort of like malicious, horrible thing. Similar to like a teenager that might think that his parents are, you know, plotting against him to destroy his life. You know, why do my parents tell me that I can't go out late? It's because they don't want me to have a social life. Why did my parents take my computer games or my Switch from me? Because they don't want me to hang out with my friends online. They want me to be a loser. Why do my parents, you know, like make me do all these stupid things at school? Like I just want to go out and do like these more fun things. You take this collection of facts, and then based upon your kind of like preconceived notions of how the world works, you're able to spin a story of these aren't a group of people that are concerned with your well-being. These are a group of people that want to destroy your entire life. So typically the way that I tend to approach the breakdown of these types of ideas is we have to go through the particular examples of what it is you're saying is being done during the Great Reset to see if we can find some of these more nefarious or treacherous ideas or things or policies or proposals at least, or ideas at least, and then see, are these actually as bad as we say they are? I notice that there's a lot of buzzwords being used in here. We've got stakeholder capitalism. The concept of stakeholder capitalism, to my understanding, is not really that bad. The idea is that all of us have a stake in the well-being of our big corporations and our countries that these corporations inhabit. Therefore, those corporations ought to be beholden to the people that power them, namely the citizens of the countries that have these corporations. I don't think that those things are necessarily, you literally just read a book for like 25 minutes. Okay. You can do this for like 2 minutes. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. I don't think that these concepts are necessarily bad. I think that using buzzwords like this to try to say that like, oh my God, like there's some eugenics program or, you know, Darwinian evolution of capitalists, blah, 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 blah. It's all boring at the end of the day. We visited these three words a lot: a socioeconomic, a political, and a biological change or reorganization of people going forward into the future. I'm curious, like, what is an example of like a policy that is being proposed by the Great Reset proponents or something that we think is a bad idea or is going to harm society going forward?
Oh, is that supposed to be a question?
Yeah, I can write it out with a question mark if you need.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, Well, first of all, I mean, you made a lot of false equivalent statements there. Characterizing what I just laid out as some sort of conspiracy theory, that's a straw man. You're tearing down a straw man of a conspiracy theory, which I'm not proposing. What I'm saying is that the global Great Reset is an open agenda that anybody can read about. You can read Klaus Schwab's book, COVID-19, The Great Reset, which actually proposes that we redefine our very humanity. So you think it's a good idea to redefine our humanity? Oh, you're not even here. My argument's not even worth listening to. You just walk away.
Just give me a second.
Destiny has left the room.
No, he's coming back. Give him a second.
Yeah, so...
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on, wait. So my question was, I just wanted one policy, but I know you're about to ramble for like 20 minutes about... I just want a policy or something. I don't need like all of this. You just did this for like 20 minutes. I'm just curious, like what's like...
Excuse me, you didn't even listen to what I just said.
I listened to like half of it and I can guess the other half. Like
you walked away from... Oh, you can guess the other half.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, so Destiny, you think that all the policies promoted by the Great Reset are good ideas, yeah? You think these are great ideas?
Probably a great deal that I disagree with.
So you think stakeholder capitalism is a good idea? Can you go ahead and tell me what's good about stakeholder capitalism? You mentioned...
When I hear people talk about stakeholder...
Excuse me, let me speak. You mentioned...
You just asked me a question, I'm sorry.
You have to let him respond, Tristan.
Destiny does get to respond. Tristan,
I haven't asked the question yet. Okay. Let me ask the question. All right, so Destiny claims that stakeholder capitalism is a good idea and that it's basically giving Destiny a say in what major global corporations do. How do you think you're going to have a say in what stakeholders are doing with these global mega corporations who are going to set policy for you and how you live? How will you have a say in that?
What is a stakeholder? What do you mean when you say that?
You're the one who said it's a good idea.
I just asked you...
A stakeholder.
Wait, hold on. Oh my God, hold on. Just I deal with a lot of like schizophrenic people in my community and shit, so it's like this is gonna drive me crazy. I'm just asking you a question. I don't need you to give me a speech or ask me 20 questions when I ask you a question. I'm just asking you simply like, what is a stakeholder?
What is a stakeholder? It is an ill-defined concept that Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum propose for this new global economic system. Stakeholders, they say, are the planet. Hey, shut up and let me finish. They say that the stakeholders are the planet, you, the people, right, as well as these global corporations, heads of corporations, and the shareholders. So stakeholders are the planet as well as the global population. right? How are you going to be a stakeholder in this? These are ill-defined terms. They don't even define this.
Yeah, so you keep saying, how am I going to be a stakeholder in this? I'm a member of the planet, right? So I am a stakeholder.
You're a member of the planet. And what is the planet?
Are we doing flat Earth as well, this debate? I
No,
don't know
you're
how much
a
I set up
member
for
of
it.
the planet.
I'm a human being. I live on. Okay, fuck. I have to.
What is the planet?
Wait, hold on.
How are you a member of the planet?
Because I'm a human being and I live on this planet. So let me just talk for a second, okay?
Yeah, so you're a human being. You have to give him a chance.
Okay.
You have to give him a chance.
Yeah, it's fine. Do you want to add anything more to this? So just so you know where I'm going, because I'm not trying to ambush you. It seems like you don't know what a stakeholder is versus like a shareholder. Now I'm about to explain that. I'll give you.
They don't even explain. The World Economic Forum itself does not even explain what a stakeholder is. It's a loosely defined term that they can redefine as they choose.
Okay.
Just like a green economy. What is a green economy? What is a green recovery? These are ill-defined terms that can always be shifted.
Well, to help put us back on track, answer his question and give us what in the regular definition of what a stakeholder in the regular economy is.
I'll explain this. So the concept is that you have shareholders and then you have stakeholders. Now, traditionally, the fiduciary responsibility of a company is to the shareholders. A shareholder is somebody that owns equity in a business. Or maybe has loan money, but generally like a shareholder is somebody that owns a part of a business. Now, the problem though, is that businesses that are only responsible to shareholders have negative impacts sometimes on other people that are impacted by that business. So for instance, let's say that we have a business that handles, I'll use an example like toxic waste or something, right? Now you might be a shareholder in that company. However, it might be the case that there is a town that you dump that waste in. Well, in a way, these guys are kind of stakeholders in the company. So a stakeholder, my understanding of what a stakeholder is stakeholders are typically people that are impacted by the activities of a business. So like the stakeholders are typically much larger than the shareholders of a company. And if a company doesn't have to be concerned about the stakeholders of a company, but only the shareholders of a company, you have problems where the incentives are misaligned such that a company can do things that dramatically enriches the shareholders, but ends up fucking over a lot of the stakeholders. That's the problem. So we can talk about like internal shareholders for a company. Like an employee, for instance, is going to be a stakeholder. I might have said stakeholder. An employee might be a stakeholder because you work at a company, but you don't really have shares in the company, right? And an external stakeholder might be maybe somebody that is like a customer to a business, or it might be like a town that a business like operates in. So when somebody says that we need stakeholder capitalism, my understanding is that rather than having these mega large corporations fucking over the entire planet and burning everything down and taking everything for themselves and enriching just the people that are rich enough to have a share of the company, stakeholder capitalism says, well, hold on, these companies need to act in a way that benefits all of the different groups that they impact as well.
Yeah. And who defines what's good? Who defines what's good for the planet? You think you're going to have a say in that? How are you going to have a say in that?
How am I going to have a say in that? Well, so when the
government, in your great global
you're not going to
reset,
let me answer. You're just going to keep rambling. Or is that,
I'm trying to finish my question.
No. You're not finishing a question. You're asking a question. You're steamrolling after to give the impression that you're
more
forward in the conversation than you do.
In this global.
Actually, I'm just going to talk over you. Okay.
So
you're asking me, how do you have any impact?
Enough.
Tristan,
talk over me and I want to clarify the question.
Tristan,
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I had to do that. I had to mute the mic. There's too much chaos. You have to chill out for just a second. If you ask a question, you've got to give them a chance to respond to it, man. Just give them a chance to respond to it.
Finish formulating the question.
Okay, finish formulating the question.
In your stakeholder capitalism, which you say is so great, how will you have a say in what is good for the planet and what is good for society and what is good for the stakeholders, which you obviously identify with? You think you're a stakeholder. So how are you going to be putting in your 2 cents on how this is to be implemented, on how we determine what's good for the planet?
Gotcha. So the way that we do this is legislatively. Oftentimes, Congress will write legislation that will have an impact on the way that businesses operate. As a stakeholder and how these businesses operate, you have some input when you elect people to Congress or to your state or local governments for how you want these types of things negotiated. So an example of this might be as part of the negotiations for large multilateral trade agreements.
Might be.
You're okay.
So you're just gonna speculate on how you might, in a hypothetical situation, have a say in this.
Okay, I'll tell you how you have a say in this then. When so it can be through protesting, for instance. So
through protesting, okay, yeah, you're going to protest.
Can you tell me what happened to the Keystone Pipeline or the Dakota Pipeline? I didn't think so. So shut the fuck up, right? You can have impacts over what goes on in your environment. There have been massive projects that have been canceled. Can I finish a single thing? There have been massive projects that have been canceled because of either protests or because of people directly influencing their leaders, their elected leaders.
And Soisberg out the whole time.
You talk like 10 times as much as me. He's trying to answer the question.
Yeah.
For outsiders watching, let him finish the ansser, and then
he's not answering the question. He's giving false equivalences.
Stop using debate bro terms, bro. We're not like this is a false equivalent. You've engaged in a level 4 straw man. Like, dude, chill. Be a human being. Okay?
No, you don't believe in logical fallacies.
I believe in logical fallacies, but when I'm talking to another human being and I'm not trying to win a debate on Reddit, I usually just say like, "Hey, bro, you said this thing. I think it's not right." That's usually how I talk. So if you want, we can employ like the language of fucking like philosophy and try to say like, actually, you've engaged in a level 3 false equivalency, and propositional logic doesn't necessarily follow deductively. If we would actually analyze this, like,
I would much prefer that we had perhaps timed responses. So that each one of us,
we can do 2 minutes.
Yeah, we can do that. But when you ask a question, Tristan, at least give your opponent 15 seconds to lay in their face.
Time to answer the question.
Let's do. I vote for this. This is, by the way, now I'm a stakeholder in the show, and now I'm going to vote on the show to have input. Okay, there's an example. I vote that we move to time response then because this guy can't handle back.
Okay, we're gonna do 1 minute timed responses starting now. We'll start with you, Destiny.